Hi guys, I wanted to do a very quick reading on the border deal. It's very early morning here. You can see that it's still, the sun hasn't quite yet come up. But I wanted to see what I get. So I'm looking at, and I'm focusing on, shuffling on the border deal, the bipartisan border deal, and whether or not that's going to come through. Because we know Trump is trying to sabotage it so that Joe doesn't get a win. So let's just see. Focus on that. I want to get the cards good and shuffled. So, will the bipartisan border deal go through? Will it be approved? Will it work out? Or will the GOP mindlessly continue to follow this moron, number 45, to their complete doom? I mean, that's another reading for another day. Let's just look at this reading very quickly and see what we get on the border. Okay, I think I've got it. I think. Okay. We get the, again, this light. We're getting the Four of Wands and Strength. Okay. See, I just need a few more. We get the Sun and the Three of Wands. I believe it will go through with these cards because, now, to be fair, the Strength card with the Four of Wands, dealing with home, domestic, boundary, it looks like people are dealing, it is a bit of a struggle that requires tenacity, that requires hanging in there, not giving up, and having that kind of fortitude to keep pushing it. But I believe that when you look at these cards, it looks like a positive outcome. And I'm kind of scared to say it because, they haven't given us, the GOP haven't given us a lot to feel like they're working alongside us yet. I think the tide has only kind of begun to turn against him a little bit. And we're starting to see that a little bit more. But there's still far too many that are still very scared to go against Trump. And I just think that I just got a sense that the longer he goes on and the more he flubs up and makes stupid mistakes, in this campaign that he's trying to do, I think members of the GOP that are not on board with him really might finally find their guts and stand up for what is right and try to work again with Congress and trying to help people. And then I get the Sun, and I get the Three of Wands, and this is foresight. This feels like a plan and implementing it and seeing some kind of, I feel like, success on some level. So I tend to think, I could be wrong, but these cards look more positive to me than negative, where that's concerned. Now we are shown the Moon and the Seven of Swords, trying to be sneaky, not being honest, hidden motives, and that to me is Trump and others that follow him, continuing to try to tell lies, to trick people about this deal. And I want to see what's going to happen with that. Oh, justice. Justice comes along and says, that's enough nonsense. I'm going to whop you on the head with my sword. And we get the Nine of Pentacles. So I believe this nonsensical sneakiness on the part of Trump to try to get a win for himself, or rather more to destroy Biden's, is going to blow up in his face. I do see some sort of legal implement that is a positive and will become, I think, helpful to deal with the issues at hand. So that is interesting. Can't help but pull a few more. There's a transformation, I think, that will take place. And I want to say between both parties. And most certainly with trying to stop the deaths that are going on of numbers of people that are, trying to come in and this sort of thing. That matters. But this gives me actual hope that there is going to be a significant change and a transformation with this matter at hand. Comes to a point that they're working and they're coming up with some quality offers, but there has to be a decision. People have to act on it. And it has to be implemented, not just sitting there. And I think with the conservative folks, there's an up and down. You have some of them that are going to want to follow Trump off a cliff, and there's others that are going to go, we've got to do something and we've got to get started. So it feels to me like there's a split in the people that I feel like think very limited, follow Trump's logic. Does he have logic? No. He has only excuses. So I tend to think it could go in a more positive direction here, where it's going to garner a bit more support despite his attempts to keep it off balance, to keep people uncertain. Definitely there's the attempt, I feel like, to continue to dismantle it. But I do believe that this stands at this time more of a chance because, again, something has to be done when we're looking at anxieties and worries about what action to take, and the fact that this brings about a lot of feeling to the surface, overflowing. And to me, this is also the migrants. There can't just be, no rules that you just come over and you just sneak in whatever. There has to be some kind of reform. There has to be some kind of change. And we do get that. We do get that. I think it's possible with this, just initially, that there could be more that come to support it, that it could go through. But let me just do one more throw of the cards. So let's see, will Biden's bipartisan offer for immigration go through? They're really determined to deprive Biden of that. We get it again, we get justice. And the Queen of Cups. There's some, I think this might squeak through. I do. It feels like maybe there's a bit more openness to consider with that Queen of Cups, what he's offering, what that works out. So I think legally there could be an approval. There might be some tweaks, some changes with this, but again, I just feel like they're looking at it with that Queen of Cups. This is about being more humane, also keeping some rules with legal, I feel like, structure for this. So I think at the end of the day, they may choose to do it, to okay it, to enough of them perhaps. But we still have the dealing with the shadiness here going on, of trying to, I think, the attempts to try and stop it. And it might be that these things will follow being exposed, the illegal attempts, not on the part of migrants, but on the part of Trump to try and kill this deal. Looking a little bit deeper into what he's doing and his antics regarding it. Now, it could be that the authorities might find Trump in a bit of a tight spot regarding what he's been doing to try and undermine this. Because we have the Emperor and we have the King of Swords. This to me is someone laying down the law very much after some attempts of shenanigans to be dishonest, not be transparent, and just to try and prevent something from occurring. So, yeah. I do feel that legally an authority comes through. I believe there is something legally binding that is approved, but there's a lot of kerfluffle around it, you know? And then we get the Ace of Swords and the world. So I do think something will end up being achieved. And it will be very clear. It will have very clear points. So I think it will work out well as also. But I think we have a bit of a ways to go with it yet. And there's still some drama to play out yet. It'll be interesting. So tell me what you all think. I think that at the end of the day, despite all the nonsense, I think it could go through and it could begin to help to deal with that situation in a hopeful, real type of manner that is successful and that brings an end to a cycle, because we have the world, that is the last card of the tarot deck, where a journey is completed. And we need to remember that when we look at that. So I think there will be some sort, again, of rules, law regarding immigration and people coming in, traveling, and it'll be clear. There's going, it's not going to be a mess as much. It's like there's some real, and there's, we get the Seven of Cups and we get the Three of Cups. So I sense that there is a sense of accomplishment, of celebration, and it is not as narrow. There's more opportunity, choices, means of, it feels like a little more open and not so rigid. Again, I feel like some things could get exposed about it. Where money's concerned, where support is given, that's been sneaky. So there could be, pardon the wound vac, there could be things that come out about his efforts to try and shoot this down. Trump's efforts. But look at that. You can't see it so well with this light. The Six of Swords, to me, this is immigration. And this is also a card of things moving into a calmer cycle, a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's not so chaotic. It's not so choppy and stressful. And to me, this is people being able to come in legally. I feel like there is a blessing in this way. And it feels like it's more balanced. So I'll just leave it there. And again, tell me what you think. We'll see what happens. And if you'd be so kind to give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. All right. See you later.